Attention, this is an emergency broadcast. Crimson Alert. The danger is imminent. There's no time to explain or prepare. If you're reading this now, do not go outside, do not look at the sky, do not trust your senses, and do not just...
Then the screen turned off. The lamps next to the television flickered briefly before readjusting themselves. I just sat in my chair, still holding my can of orange soda, staring dumbstruck.
What the fuck? I said softly. What the actual fuck?
My phone began to buzz in my pocket, so I pulled it out instantly and checked. My girlfriend was calling me. I answered.
Babe, did you get that?
You mean the Crimson Alert thing?
Yeah, that. Christ, I thought it was a fucking myth.
Wait, what are you talking about, Jenny? What's going on?
Look, there's an urban myth. I've heard about this. It says that whenever there's a Crimson Alert, that means something really, really bad is coming. Like, not end of the world bad, but still bad. I don't know how to describe it, but what I do know is this. Whenever there's a Crimson Alert, it never finishes.
You think it's a prank?
I asked nervously, still looking at my television screen.
I don't know, okay? I don't know. It could be, but then...
I waited for Jenny to continue, and waited.
Baby?
I said nervously.
Baby, you still there?
Oh, sweet mother of God.
Her voice was quiet as she whispered over the phone.
There's something outside.
What?
I said, sitting up.
What is it?
Then she hung up. I immediately tried to redial her, holding up the phone to my ear. The voice that came over the airwaves wasn't hers, however.
We're sorry. The number you have dialed is unavailable. It is currently a Crimson Alert. All residents are advised to hide and not go outside, not look at the sky, not trust your senses, and not...
There was a blast of static. Briefly, the robotic voice became distorted and repeating the last phrase again and again, like a broken record. Then it hung up. I stared at my phone, no cell reception.
Damn it!
I said, throwing it to the side as I placed the can of orange soda down and began racing up to my room. The hell with it. The woman I cared about was out there, and she was most likely in danger, and I wasn't going to sit in my house and do nothing. I had to save her. In my room, I began sorting through my drawers, and trying to find something I could use to defend myself. I had no idea what was going on. It wouldn't hurt to have a weapon of some kind. All I found was a rosary, though, which I stuffed in my jacket before turning around. Outside, someone screamed. I immediately turned to my bedroom window, looking into the night. That was when I heard it. More screaming, but something was off about it. My curiosity got the best of me, and I slowly began walking over the window. I had to see what was out there. A face appeared. I cried out, stumbling back. The face watched me with dull eyes, gray and lifeless. I bolted out of my room and ran into the hallway. I didn't get far before I heard a pounding at my door, followed by an order.
"Open this door,"
said a large, imposing voice. One that sounded like it could strangle me with ease if I did.
"This is the police. Crimson Alert is cancelled."
Like the screams, there was something off about this voice. I thought back to what the Crimson Alert said.
Do not trust your senses.
What did that mean? The door was pounded on again.
"Open this door,"
said the large, imposing voice.
"This is the police. Crimson Alert is cancelled." "Go away,"
I shrieked at them. Another pounding of the door.
"Open this door,"
the large, imposing voice said again.
"This is the police. Crimson Alert is cancelled."
There. That was what was wrong. Not in how it repeated itself, but in the way it spoke. The pitch, the tone, the way it seemed to pound on the door. It was like it was a recording. Another pound on the door, followed by the same demand. Hesitantly, I began to back away. I still needed to get outside and find Jenny, but how could I do that if I couldn't use the door? I licked my lips trying to think, when something shattered downstairs, followed by a thud. There was a creak, glass crinkling, then another as something heavy moved downstairs. A musky, foul odor hit my nostrils like some kind of animal. I'd grown up on a farm, so I was used to most scents, from pigs to horses to goats, but this one felt like all of those mixed together. It smelled like... Then I remember the broadcast saying I couldn't trust my senses. That meant I couldn't... When the magnitude of that hit me, my eyes widened and I stumbled backwards, landing on my back in my room. I glanced at my window briefly. The face was gone. The pounding at the door resumed again, demanding that it be opened as the police were here and the Crimson Alert was cancelled. Those plodding thuds, like... Memories came flooding back to me. Of my life on the farm as a young boy. When the horses came into the stables, they walked slowly, their hooves clopping along the ground. This reminded me of that almost, and this smell. They're like a mixture of different farm animals, a distinct underlying ting to it. Like a goat almost. Hesitantly, I poked my head outside my room at the floor below me. The plotting had come closer, and in the light of the two lamps, I saw a shadow cast over the wall, on the unmistakable head of a human. Silhouetted by the light, I could see two horns curving out like a ram's. The torso of the shadow moved, lifting up one thin appendage before placing it back down, accompanied by another plodding thud. On the end there was a stump resembling a hoof. I watched as the shadow moved across the wall slowly with every prodding thud. That was all it took for me to shut the door to my room. I wasn't sure if I was seeing was real, but I couldn't take any risks. Except for Jenny. As the plodding steps got closer and closer, I crawled underneath my bed. It was like those nights when on the farm as a child, I would hide under it during a thunderstorm. I was almost embarrassed to be doing it now. The reason I wasn't was because the plodding thuds had reached the stairs and become heavy, pained creaks of wood. Each one coming closer and closer with every step. The pounding on the door came back, but the large, imposing voice was now slurred and distorted.
Open this door. This is the police. Crimson Alert is canceled.
Then they began to choke and gag and gargling, followed by a harsh, whooping cough, then a single, pained gasp. A heavy thud on my porch as they choked, gargling, and coughing became quieter and quieter before stopping altogether. The creaking of the wood got louder. When it became softer, it turned and began marching towards my door. My unlocked door. I had to lock it, but that meant getting out from under the bed, and I couldn't trust my senses, could I? Was that shadow I'd seen even real? What if the heavy plodding thuds weren't either? Or the pounding on the door? What if something was hiding, using those to distract me? What if it was inside this room with me now, under this very bed? What could I do?
Pray.
The voice of an elderly man said in my head. I blinked, and I suddenly found myself back on the farm, a small boy clutching my blanket to my chest. My granddad was sitting in a rocking chair, holding a tobacco pipe in one hand and smiling at me.
Just pray. Then you'll know what to do.
I dug my hand in my pocket, grabbed my rosary, and clenched the beads between my fingers, beginning to do just that. I said the Hail Mary automatically, something I hadn't done since I was a child. It was amazing how easy it came to me, how natural it felt, and as I prayed, a wave of calm slowly descended upon me. There was another plodding step, so close it was almost outside my door. Without thinking, I crawled out from under the bed, rushed forward on my hands and knees, and reached up, turning the lock on my door so it was horizontal. 2 more plodding steps followed. Stopping on the other side of the door, the nasty, disgusting musk of a male goat wafted into my nostrils, overpowering every scent. The door shuddered as something hit it from the other side. I recoiled, gripping my rosary between my fingers and scrambling backwards on my hands and feet. My back slammed against my bedpost, and I would have crawled back under it until something began speaking from the other side. I froze, breathing intently. The voice was low and feminine, slightly distorted like it was speaking through static, but there was the unmistakable braying to it, the kind that goats made on the farm. Then the door shuddered again, a bulge appearing as something dented it from the other side. I grabbed the rosary in both hands, holding it in front of me, and reciting the Hail Mary. The Our Father, the Glory Be, and any prayer which sprang to mind. The door shuddered again, the bulge growing wider. I prayed harder. The door shuddered again, and the voice repeated itself, once again hissing those words. Its voice was rumbling in pain now, the feminine edge mixed with a grating tone like someone shredding stone. The wood in the door was nearly split apart as the bulge deepened. A slit opened in, through which dark, cloven bones briefly flashed across. Red, bristly furs ringed around the top. It disappeared, then a goat's leg smashed through the slit. That voice spoke again, now louder, almost screaming the phrase.
Go away!
I shrieked, holding the rosary close to my chest.
Go away in the name of God!
Then everything stopped. The goat's leg in my door remained still, the red, bristly fur standing straight on edge. Then slowly it pulled back, returning to the other side of the door. The wood closed around it, repairing itself like a wound until there was no sign it had ever been kicked in. I remained sitting on the floor, rosary beads clutched in shaking hands, waiting for the sound of those plodding hooves. It took a while before I realized I couldn't smell the musk of a male goat, but I still didn't move. The words of the Crimson Alert were still fresh in my mind. Don't go outside. Don't look at the sky. Don't trust your senses. Don't what? What was the last word? Did I even want to know?
It's alright, laddie.
Granddad's voice said in my head.
Everything will be alright. However long the day, the evening will come.
It was odd. Despite being years dead, I almost felt like he was in the room with me. I could still remember what he said when he came from the Emerald Isle, visiting his son and family with a kind smile and laugh. He was never one to shy away from stories from home, recounting the ways people had lived in Ireland for thousands of years. Whenever I needed help, Granddad always told me either a proverb or some story. And this time, remembering the Crimson Alert, which had flashed across my screen unfinished, I recalled one in particular. It was on a cloudy, stormy day when my granddad told it to me. Mom and Dad were out getting groceries and he was left to babysit. He was looking outside, smoking his tobacco pipe when he asked me a question.
Do you know how to check if someone is the devil? No, Granddad.
I told him, eating a bowl of cereal.
How do you check? Well,
my granddad said, taking a seat next to me.
The devil always shows up in a disguise, you see? He's always hiding his true nature from us. But there's always something which gives him away. What is it?
I asked him.
His footprints,
my granddad answered.
So I have to look out for goat prints?
I asked, smiling. Then Granddad shook his head.
No. The devil's footprints don't look like a goat's.
I blinked, the spoon in my hand suspended in midair.
What do they look like?
My granddad sighed, pulling the pipe out of his mouth and turning to the side. He blew out a ring of smoke before standing up and walking over to the arts and crafts area. He set down his pipe gently and picked up a red crayon and a piece of paper, starting to draw. It only took 3 quick movements of his hand to finish before he turned around and held up his drawing for me to see. It was a capital V with a straight line down the middle.
This is it.
My granddad said, his voice grave.
This is what the devil's footprint looks like. If you ever see these, pray to the Virgin Mother, God, Jesus, and all the saints and angels to protect you. Because that means the devil is walking the earth.
When I came back to the present, I was still sitting against the bed, clutching the rosary in my hand. I was an old thing made of wood, corded brown string, and the cross hanging from it decorated with woven Celtic imagery. I bought it the last time I'd been to Ireland for my grandfather's funeral. It was still in persistent condition, despite all these years of being hidden in my drawer. I only bought it because I thought it looked beautiful. Who'd have thought I'd actually use it? Certainly not me. I could have stayed in that room for the rest of the night, safe and sound, praying into the morning light, but my granddad's voice came back into my head.
All that is needed for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing.
No one would know if I did nothing right. They wouldn't blame me either. I had to stay alive. I couldn't deal with what the hell was happening. There was nothing I could do. But I would know. Jenny was out there, alone and afraid, no one to keep her safe. The woman I loved needed help. What kind of man was I to think of myself before others? Tentatively, I stood up, walking towards my door and unlocking it. As I pulled it open, the carpet in the hall was marked by several black marks in 2 rows. Smoke wafting from each one. They were like small semicircles with a small split in the middle. The faint goat odor had infected the hallway, and I gagged as I walked down it. When my foot touched one of the marks, there was a hissing and I drew back instantly, but when I looked down at my shoe, the sole was completely bare of any marks. When I went downstairs, the house was empty. The black, burning semicircle led to a broken window. There was no glass on the inside of the house, save a few sprinkles along the ground. I blinked at this until it clicked. The window had been broken from the inside. I inhaled sharply, and as the wind came in through the window, it carried with it the scent of burning pork and goat musk, and Jenny's perfume. In the basement, there came a soft weeping, almost like a large, imposing voice from the door, followed by a thump.
Police.
A voice croaked through the floorboards.
No.
Maybe something was playing a trick on me. I wasn't supposed to trust my senses, my sense of touch, my sense of taste, smell, hearing, and sight. The things we humans depend on. They wouldn't be much help to me, but I didn't have much choice. I went to the back patio searching for anything I could find to protect myself with. I was still clutching my rosary when my hand grabbed a metal snow shovel. I felt a blast of cold race up my arm. My fingers turned white, gripping into the shovel. While I raised the rosary slowly, I pressed it against the shovel. When the cross touched it, there was a scream so quiet it sounded like it was miles away. No animal could have made this scream, or a person. I took the rosary off the shovel and the screaming stopped. My hand let go, and instead I grabbed onto something else. A baseball bat. I pressed the rosary against it, and nothing happened. I then looked around, still formulating a plan, when I heard a child screaming outside. I was about to look outside when I paused. There was a door creaking open inside my house. Still holding the baseball bat, I went inside. The screams got louder with every step until I was in the kitchen beside the fridge. The basement door had opened. A hand, burnt to a black crisp, suddenly lunged out of it, grabbing onto the smooth-tiled floor. Something began croaking incoherently. I ran forward and with all my might brought the baseball bat down on it. The croaking stopped as the hand impacted against the tiles, leaving a dent. I glanced at the basement door, snug in the frame. There was more soft weeping in the basement.
Police.
A voice croaked.
Open up. No. Help me.
I had to get out of this house. I had no choice. I was turned around, ready to bolt outside when I caught sight of my phone. Still laying on the table, the screen was lit up with a faint buzzing. Running forward, I snatched up and checked the message.
Crimson Alert still in effect. Do not believe anyone saying otherwise. If you can read this, listen. The police can't help you. The military can't help you. Trust nothing that claims to beat them. We have no time to prepare. I'm sending this out to everyone I can while I can. He is coming. At Diablos Incarnate, at Homo Factus, someone let him in. Someone's opening the door. If you find them, kill them. And for the love of God, don't judge.
The message cut off right there, just like the emergency broadcast. I could still hear the vaguely feminine voice becoming like shredded stones, pounding against the door. Another thud from the basement, followed by a bubbling croak. Then a window broke upstairs, followed by a light thud on the floor. A mix of tapping sounds followed, racing across the floor. I thought of Jenny, her smile, her naturally tanned skin, her eyes such a majestic blue, the same color as the sky, her laugh, her amazing spirit. She needed me. I had to find her. I'd never be able to live with myself if I didn't. I'd probably die, but it was worth the risk.
Don't worry, babe.
I said softly as I held my baseball bat, going into the kitchen for a knife. Once I finished carving the cross onto my bat, I hefted it over my shoulder, trying to steel my nerves.
I'm coming for you.
Thank you guys so much for showing up and watching my video. It genuinely means the world to me, and I really hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed making it. I look forward to my future with this channel. It's going to be an amazing year. Not only am I going to be hopefully upgrading my system a little bit, better microphone, better sound quality, all of that. Actually purchase some soundtracks to put in the background that I'm not using royalty-free stuff. But like, it means the world to me how much support I receive, not just from my friends, but also from like my idols. I won't lie, the first time talking to them, like, even just a little bit, I was fangirling. It was kind of sad. But now I just sit in awe at the fact that the entire community, not just them, the entire community is there to support me and people like me. Just if they're just starting out, they're amazing people. So I'm gonna link a few narrators in the description, but just it makes me so damn happy, and I really appreciate everyone who showed up to watch this. So thank you, just thank you, like all of you. If you want to submit your own story to hear on my channel, I will leave my email in the description. You can email me through that, because if you want to share your document with me, if it's on Google Docs or anything like that, let me know. If you're gonna share your document with me, let me know via email. That way I can see that you shared it with me, and I can check it out and I can read it and hopefully do a video on it. But if you also want to just leave links to you can leave story names in the comments down below, and whatever subreddit they're on or website. And other than that, that's all I had to say. So I hope all of you have an amazing day, whether you're watching this in the morning or at night. Happy holidays.